posting this because I don't know why, really. In case I die like Andrew, I want a record of what happens, I guess. Maybe just to keep my own sanity. It doesn't matter. I'm writing this. I'm in the public library. I can't say where or why, but I had to get this outside of my brain for a while. To get here, I had to circle at least 5 times around the block to make sure I wasn't being followed. And yet, I'm still not convinced I wasn't. To me, it feels like absolutely anyone surrounding me could be the person who's been doing all this. Admittedly, it's doubtable that the fat blonde sitting behind me, he couldn't even have the agility for a chase. The fellow to my left is similarly unlikely to be the proprietor, as his clothes seem to be like something scooped up the last minute of the jumbo cell at a landfill. But I digress. Anyone else could be the one. All their lines of sight feel like small whirlwinds of flames, constantly burning in me all over. Everyone looking, not staring, just not subtle enough, waits persistent glances in my direction. But that's all it takes to light the flame and puts me constantly on edge, ready to snap at any second. Anyway, trying to resist the urge to push and punch and run like all hell every time someone brushes me, tries to catch a glimpse into my wondering eyes. It feels like everyone is trying to butt into my business. They're all trying to find out what doesn't concern them. Or perhaps they all know, and they're trying to find out how much I know. In which case, should I let them believe I'm all-knowing so they run off scared? Or do the ones that know too much get killed rather than feared? Or should I let them believe that I know nothing so they would just leave me alone? Or does that mean they can kill me, seeing that I'm no longer a threat of leaking their information? Anyway, I'm rambling again. This all started about 2 months ago with the death of my friend Andrew. There are many types of friends. Apart from the normal, casual ones, there are close friends and good friends, respectively. The friends who know a lot about you, the friends who support you, and of course, you can be lucky enough to have the odd friend who crosses the line, and is both close and good. Fortunately, I never had one. I have, or rather had, many good friends, but Andrew was my only close friend. But definitely not a good one. He knew almost everything about me, and I him. But we argued a lot, and made up a lot, day in and day out. More like brothers than friends. I could tell him whatever was on my mind without the expectations of judgment. But he often wasn't there for me, disappearing for days at a time. He was like family to me. Until he died, of course. They found his body in a field somewhere, a few miles out of town. Despite the police's best efforts, I witnessed the body myself. His throat had been, I'm not sure the right word, mangled, ripped, clawed. It was brutal. The sight brought stinging, salty tears to my eyes, and the lovely tang of vomit in my throat. The autopsy reports several stab wounds to his stomach and thigh, and confirmed that the throat was punctured by what appears to be teeth. Fox teeth. However, foxes don't normally kill people. Not to mention that no fox would have the strength to achieve what has happened to Andrew's throat. No normal fox anyway. Of course, I knew next to nothing about Andrew being involved with any foxes, or knew anyone at all for that matter. Unfortunately for the police, I also didn't know anything about a scar, a roughly 4-month-old shaped human bite mark on his left arm. Nor did I know about the carving in his chest. It was unlike any symbol I've seen. I regret I don't have a photo, as I couldn't risk bringing my hard drive here on this trip. But I will in due time. I did see the symbol again after, though. Quite dramatically so. About 2 days ago, after his death, I began being followed. It began with an unmarked white van parked down my street. I thought nothing of it at first, but after a while I began to notice someone following me wherever I went. I look behind me and see a dark hooded figure wandering some distance behind me, everywhere. So eventually I turned the opposite way and confronted him, and they sprint off faster than I could chase them. I ran the number of the license plate through every database I was aware of. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No record of this thing anywhere. So naturally I called the police, and naturally they told me I was crazy. It does sound crazy, I suppose, saying I'm being followed and watched. So I, like my callous friends in blue, attempted to shrug it off as paranoia, which worked well. For a day. In the third week, my house was broken into. Every single one of my windows smashed, every door left open, but nothing was taken. The police passed off as neighborhood kids, just trying to cause trouble. But why would they cause so much damage and draw the moral line at burglary? Maybe they just wanted to scare me. But why me? I couldn't think of that many people who'd have it in for me, especially since Andrew's weird death. And the stalking. It just didn't feel right. Nothing did. I had already been devastated by Andrew's death. I had tried to forget about it and spend time with my good friends, but they began to just worry over me and even become scared. Sometimes it was hard to step into someone else's perspective, and I couldn't. Now, spending most of my time isolated in the woods, I can't imagine how unhinged I must appear. Always ranting about being followed and watched, never washing clothes or myself from depression, always being edgy, so I stopped spending time with them. They just fueled my growing distrust and disdain of people. Although I stopped spending time outside, I didn't feel safe inside either, especially not after the break-in. And I could never sleep, never rest. Even after days without sleep, I could only nod off for brief moments of time. The screams kept me up. The screams began shortly after the break-in. They were horrifying, disturbing even, certainly not human. I thought at first it might be some sadistic neighbor simultaneously torturing a cat and a monkey, or some demon with some odd taste angering over the state of my unkept garden. I kept searching for hours online, trying to find the source of what the screams might be, eventually landing on the clip of a female fox, a vixen. At least that's my best guess anyway. Any video I could find online with vixen sounded were not nearly as loud or long or soul-shakingly eerie as the one that kept me up. Then, about 3 weeks ago, I got a phone call in the middle of the day from a blocked number. On the other end, the screams. In my alarm, I ripped the landline and buried it in my garden. But then it called on my mobile phone. More screams. Terrifying. Haunting. I can't remember what I did with the phone. I don't have it anymore. I live in the woods now, in a cabin. I'm too scared to stay at home after the dead animals. Oh yeah, did I mention that? Shrews and mice and rats and cats and dogs all over my house. Their organs in separate places. I have pictures on my hard drive. Then I got the hell out of there. I don't know why I'm being followed. I don't know if they know where I live now. I need to find out. I don't know how. I need to go now. I can't stay long inside my safe house. But I shall keep this updated once a week, however I can. Until then, wish me luck.